Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Let's continue into cutscenes.
Alfric, how serendipitous that you have come to our aid.
Yeah, and at convenient timing too.
I am relieved that I wasn't too late. I do hope my presence proved useful.
This guy looks like a palace ruler from Persona 5. He looks like he has a palace.
No doubt about it. We needed the backup.
So you're Alfric.
Professor, I do believe this is the first time our paths have crossed, is it not?
Do I know your voice actor?
Of course, I have heard all about you from Her Grace, the Archbishop. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Alfric. The Church has granted me custodianship of Abyss.
Pleased to meet you.
The pleasure is all mine. I am sure you have already been told about Abyss's unique situation. For varying reasons, all of the inhabitants here are unable to live a peaceful life on the surface. People like the Dagdans and Almirans, who suffer undue persecution across Fodlan. The poor and the sick, who are forced into Abyss. Not to mention all the other unfortunate souls who ended up here. I believe it is my sacred duty to provide a place for those who have nowhere else to go.
Curtis, thank you so much for the follow. I think that brings us at 50 followers, which means I should have the affiliate status. But, yeah, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you enjoy this stream and any future ones that may come your way. Off to the gym now? Yeah, have a good workout. Thank you so much for the follow. Thanks for the chat. It was nice talking to you. Enjoy your time at the gym. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you so much.
Right. And the poor and sick living in a sunless crypt helps them... how?
Enough, Claude. Please, forgive my friend, Elfric. We would love to hear more.
In all honesty, I understand his concern. I dearly wish I could provide a better life for my flock. But it would appear that Her Grace and most of the Church consider the existence of Abyss to be something of a nuisance.
A nuisance?
I'm afraid so. Those within the Church who would see Abyss purged are swiftly growing in number.
That's the church for you. They make a big deal out of helping the helpless, when it suits them.
The Church bad?
We can't just sit back and accept the way things are. We've got to fight the system.
I love it how I'm like Church bad and I helped out the Church throughout the whole game in Golden Deer.
Sure, I'm here to hide from literally countless bounty hunters. But I'm not the only one in need. You're in a bad way too, Happy. You can't just let the Church walk all over us.
Too true. For the sake of all who dwell in Abyss, we must help dear Alfric to turn the tide.
I am overwhelmed with gratitude. Your fervent support is all the reward I could ask for. As for you, Professor, I must beg a favor of you. The Ashen Wolves are a house in name alone. They are eager students with no teacher to guide them. If you could find it in your heart to take them under your wing, I would be most grateful. Naturally, your official duties take precedence, so you need only help out when your schedule allows.
Wait a minute, Alfric. Where's this nonsense coming from?
I second that question. We have no need of a professor when we have you.
Dear flock, I am a mere guardian. I can protect you, but I cannot enrich your minds.
Oh, Raptor, welcome back. An interesting discussion. Yeah, also got a follower out of that. I think we're at 50 followers, which should give me affiliate status if I'm not mistaken. Did I kill the Death Knight? Unfortunately, no. I was just so burnt out from the map, and I was like, you know what? A Crescent Sickle is sick, but I'm good. I didn't want to have to kill the Death Knight. I just wanted to be out of the map, so I did not kill him, unfortunately. I definitely would have if I didn't lose and have to do it again.
Though I call this gathering an academy house, I have long lamented that it isn't truly so.
Yeah, we were just talking about Tales of, mostly. Like 90% of that conversation.
Now, I am blessed with the opportunity to correct this. The professor who stands before you has garnered a great deal of acclaim on the surface. A most trustworthy and esteemed teacher, to say the least. What's more, I happen to be acquainted with the father of this fine individual.
You know my father? Yeah, how do you know my father?
I was born and raised in Garrick Mach, so I often have the opportunity to spend time with him.
I refuse to believe this. Jeralt has never mentioned you.
Your mother as well. She was a cherished friend of mine. I was even present for their wedding.
More
With
lies.
parents like yours, I have no doubt that you possess the kindness and patience necessary to guide these students.
But
I find it hard to believe. I find it hard to believe that this guy was a friend of my father's and my mother's apparently, and no one even thought to mention it. Just saying, I find that a little shady.
It'll be fine. It's not like we're strangers anymore. Say, Alfric, don't you need to take care of those thieves?
Ah, right you are. Please, excuse me. Oh, and one more thing, Professor. If ever you would like to hear more about your parents, I would be delighted to share my memories with you.
Yeah, just start by telling me, because really I don't believe you. And you look like a palace ruler from Persona 5. I'm not letting that go. Dimitri's the only one that can use this sickle. That makes me feel better. Crescent sickle is a cool weapon, but it wasn't worth going through that to have to get it, personally. I've got my 11 sword, I'm good.
Cindered shadows. The Rite of Rising.
Honestly though, redoing that map was good for a couple of reasons. And I'll explain them in a minute.
Ah, Professor, to what do I owe this pleasure?
I'm gonna interrupt you for a second while I say this. But replaying that map brought two things that were really beneficial. Actually, mainly one thing, but it leads up to something. But the main thing I really like about having to replay that map is that we did get a few levels. Since I'm playing on normal mode, the levels carry over to the beginning of the chapter. So I did get to level up a bit, and it's good because I know the next map. The next map is my least favorite map in this game. But, you know, what was I saying? Dude, I lost my train of thought. Again, it always happens. But, I did get enough levels. I feel like I got enough levels that I think the next map will be much more manageable, which I'm glad because the next map sucks. I also would dare to say Chapter 4's map kind of sucks. But I think the next map is by far the worst. Seems like you could get affiliate. Is your average viewer count enough? I think my, that's a good question because, the followers was the main thing I was concerned about. I was like, oh, that's the thing that's just gonna take time. I definitely stream enough to get affiliate status. I stream, like, basically every weekday, if not 4 days a week. So, definitely that's enough. My viewer count is kind of all over the place. Isn't it, like, 3 viewers? I think it's 3 viewers. I feel like my viewer count might be enough. I don't know, honestly. But mainly, the main thing was 50 followers. I was like, yo, I can get good views, and I could stream a lot, but the follower count is what I had to work on. So, either way, the follower count was the main thing. That was, like, my main gateway. But, that was my main gateway. Like, now that the follower count is done, I'll eventually get affiliate a lot easier. The follower count was what I was worried about most. Not really worried about, just was what I was kind of like, oh, I had to work on this. It is 3 views average. Gotcha. We'll worry about that later. Either I get affiliate or not, no big deal. I got 50 followers, still a big achievement. I do want to hear more about my parents and how you possibly knew them and they didn't mention a single word about you.
Ah, yes, of course you do. I will gladly tell you all that I know. Where to begin? If you have something particular in mind, please ask and I shall answer as best I can.
Why they never brought you up? Then again, I do want to know about my mother, so tell me about my... Tell me about my mother.
Kind and wise. I would often see her in the library, her nose always buried in a book.
Sounds a lot like Lysithea.
Jeralt was very much then as he is now. His knights would have done just about anything for him. Whenever he had time to spare, he would instruct the children of the monastery in combat and tactics. Just like those wide-eyed youngsters, your mother and I made a hero of him in our minds. when I learned that Jeralt and Citri were to be married, I was quite surprised. Back then, Jeralt was something of a mentor to me. As for Citri, she found it difficult to express her emotions. It was only when she was gazing at Jeralt that I ever saw her smile. A smile that rivaled the very sun. His tales of the outside world must have seemed like a lifeline for one as frail and guarded as she. Indeed, she lacked the strength to travel beyond the monastery.
Ah, so she was sheltered.
The only souls she ever spoke with were a select few within the monastery walls. I can picture it now. The stories he told her, his striking words, and his boisterous laugh. Listening to him must have given her a great deal of hope. As for me, I could never have become like Jeralt, as much as I wished for it.
Sounds like this guy was the third wheel. They were like all friends, and he was just the one that wanted to be with my mother, but just couldn't be. Is what I'm getting at. I'm obviously saying this and I played the game, but you know. Anyone can interpret it like that.
I suppose I did. He would tell stories from a century ago as though he had lived them himself. No matter how fervently one studies the stories of old, that is no easy task. Professor, you traveled with Jeralt before coming here. You must have seen a great many things, yes? Forgive me for overstepping, but do you not regret foregoing your travels to take up residence here? Well then, I suppose I have no choice but to assist you as best I can. To shape young minds must afford you a unique perspective on the world. I am certain my unsolicited advice is nothing but a nuisance, but please, hear me out. It is my hope that you will live a full life, experiencing the world, fostering strong relationships with people. Do so for dear Citri, whose wish to experience such things shall regretfully never be granted.
Is that why you asked me to teach the wolves?
I cannot deny it. It is my own stubborn notion, one that her grace will likely not think kindly of. Beyond my personal motive, I believe that you alone can guide my flock to even greater heights, and perhaps you will learn from them as well. But I have taken enough of your precious time. Know that I am here for you, always.
I don't trust this guy one bit. He just has, I don't know, something shady about him.
Pray tell, Yuri, did those foul bandits whom we bested at the arena confess to anything?
Not a word. And they wouldn't name names. I got the feeling they didn't know much themselves. However, one thing is clear. Whoever hired them is after something here in Abyss.
Yeah, that's gotta be it. They must have been on a treasure hunt or something.
A treasure hunt here? I don't get it. What is there to find in these dingy tunnels?
Elfric, was it? Looks like this is ringing a bell for you.
Well, something does come to mind, but the notion is preposterous at best.
Never discount a wild hunch. Sometimes they're closer to the truth than you'd think.
Any lead will do, so long as it helps determine our next course of action. Please, go on.
As you wish, though again, it is quite far-fetched. You see, there is a long-standing legend here. It is said that deep underground, below even Abyss, is a place called the Chasm of the Bound, wherein lies the Chalice of Beginnings.
I think you mean the Cup of Kings.
I've never heard of it, but chances are it's some kind of sacred artifact belonging to the church.
Oh, what would make you think that, Lindhart? I wonder.
I once happened upon an old document that mentioned a ritual called the Rite of Rising. The text was incomplete, so I was unable to achieve a full understanding of the topic. I cannot even guarantee the authenticity of what I read, but it stated that the Chalice of Beginnings is a sacred object, crafted by order of Saint Seros herself. Saint Seros apparently used the artifact to carry out the Rite of Rising, along with the 4 apostles.
I vaguely recall reading about the four apostles. They were saints, and that's about all anyone knows. Hardly any records of them remain. Few alive even know their names, but these apostles supposedly assisted the four saints with their holy work.
It is also believed that Saint Seros attempted to perform a resurrection using the chalice. However, the ritual failed. The four apostles bound the chalice, so that it would never fall into a mortal's hands.
The Rite of Rising, huh?
Ah, yes! The Chalice of Legend! My father mentioned it to me a very long time ago.
Sounds a lot like the ritual of resurrecting the goddess Martel. I'm just saying. Reviving a sacrifice?
A secret treasure of the church. A chalice, powerful enough to resurrect the dead. Exhilarating, no?
Quite. It is no small wonder that people are after it.
Even so, we still don't have much to go on. We must gather more information about this legend at once.
I play Tales of Symphonia. I think I'm fine.
I wholeheartedly agree. I will do all I can to track down more clues within the monastery. Although Garreg Mach's library is so well curated, I doubt any further records will be found.
Wondrous! We shall do all that we can as well.
Okay then. Oh yeah, for sure. I did see that message in chat with the milestone, but I didn't want to interrupt cutscenes for it. But I enjoy making content, and I, of course, want to achieve milestones because that's a goal. But either way, still a really fun time. Streaming games is still fun. Like, I still enjoy, even if I don't have any viewers on a certain day, I still enjoy it. I still enjoy playing a game on Twitch. It's still really great fun. So, you know. But really, I feel like my channel is just making good progress. I've been doing streaming. I've been doing YouTube for like 4 years, since 2017. Almost 4 years, but I don't consider... I didn't start adding commentary to my videos until like 2019. Late 2019, so probably 2 years. And Twitch specifically only a year. So, you know.
Excuse me.
Really looking forward to what happens with my channel. Alright, now we're gonna talk to characters.